Hello, and welcome to Healing Tips from the Heart, Intuition with Helpers, Healers, and Guides. I am your host, Dr. Lori Hops, licensed psychologist, writer, and artist. I've explored mind, body, and spirit related to intuition, or your personal guidance system, since early childhood. Meet my guests who have learned from their personal and professional lives to explore vast realms of knowing, synchronicities, and overcoming challenges. Their stories may inspire you with tools to enhance your daily living and relationships. Hello, everyone, and welcome my special guest for today, Dondi Dahlin. Dondi is a lifetime performer and energy medicine specialist, a professional dancer for over 25 years who spent most of her life in show business. She was raised in the lineage of one of the most influential families in natural health and has witnessed the rise of energy medicine from fringe to mainstream. Like her mom, Donna Eden, she believes that anyone can be a healer. Dondi is a proud member of the Screen Actors Guild and an international speaker. She has performed in over 35 countries around the world and teaches for such famous venues as Omega, Hay House, Mind Valley, the Shift Network, and where I have met her personally at ASAP events, and of course at energy medicine events and teaching all over the world. She has award-winning books, The Five Elements, and the Little Book of Energy Medicine she co-authored with her mom, Donna Eden. And she carries this legacy forward in making complex energy healing systems accessible to everyday people, which we'll be talking about in a few minutes. She is a homeschooling mom and historic preservationist. She helps people embrace transformation with joy and to live a robust, adventurous, and meaningful life. And she is a wonderful costume designer, in my opinion. I've seen some of your amazing works, Dondi, and it is so wonderful to have you here with me today. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Lori. We have wanted to do this for a while, and I'm so happy to be here. I adore you, and I just was waking up this morning thinking, yay, I get to be with Lori today.
And we get to share that joy with everyone else who's tuning in. So it's such a pleasure. And I want everyone to know that not only have I seen you at ASAP events and got to have the honor to introduce you more recently when you were a speaker at our conference, but I've also got to spend some time alone with you in person. And it was just so from the heart. And it felt sort of like coming back to an old friendship or connection, and kind of beyond time and space. And so I also deeply cherish you and just love watching what you're turning your life into, you know? It's just a great thing. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Lori. I feel the same. I was telling my mom, and if everyone doesn't know, they'll know shortly. My mom is Donna Eden. I was saying to my mom that time that you and I met together, it was very busy. I think I was teaching at a hotel.
Yeah,
You were part of a big wedding, I think, in San Diego.
yeah.
And we came together, and I said to my mom, you know, when you feel that resonance, like, oh, I know this person. This is just like you said, this is an old friend. Yeah, so
Yeah,
thank
it's so
you.
great. Well, how about if you start right there about what is all this that we're talking about, that we're making reference to, this whole healing modality and people and technologies, really ancient technologies that are also modern.
Yeah, so I will start with my mom and sort of the world I was born into. My mom is Donna Eden, and she's a healer. She's a renowned healer, and people know her for Eden Energy Medicine and the Eden Method. And that is what my sister and I were both born into in a very, very natural way. Now there's a certification program that's been going 20 years, and there is online schooling and online classes. And yes, we travel the world and we've spoken from big stages. But when I was growing up, it was the way we lived inside the house and going to school and walking downtown in our small town of Ashland, Oregon, or visiting my dad in San Diego and getting on a plane and dealing with everyday things, whether it was getting on that plane and having some fear of flying, or going to school and knowing, today is a day I might be bullied, or walking downtown alone for the first time at 11 years old and using energy medicine techniques for confidence, for joy, for physical pain, for anything that came into our lives. It was a lifestyle, and it still is for us. And that's what I like to really bring through my teaching today and meeting people, that yes, it's great to set a certain time every day when you're going to do the techniques, because life is so busy. And it's great to have an energy medicine routine because life is so busy. But just make energy medicine a part of your life. Do it while you're doing the dishes. Do it while you're having a glass of water. I'm crossing my legs under the desk right now of where I'm sitting. We talk about crossing a lot and figure eight patterns, and I won't get too woo-woo too fast, but you can do everyday things all the time with energy medicine to keep yourself strong and vibrant. So that's kind of the world I grew up in. And I should say, when I was 8 years old, I met David Feinstein, and he married my mom when I was 14. And so the whole world of energy psychology, EFT, tapping, and energy medicine, and incredible today, I guess they call them thought leaders. We didn't say that in the 1970s. We just said wise women and wise men were always in our midst, is the world I grew up in. And I feel so blessed to grow up in the world of healing as an integral part of my life. Okay.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I'm right there with you, with all the people, Gene Houston and Dawson Church, and I mean, so many people. But if you're new to this and you've never heard anything about this before, I know that um, the work that you do goes beyond what many know today, which is the Chinese medicine, kind of like acupuncture, acupressure, qigong, all of that, and Eastern Indian, like yoga principles and the chakras and meridians. So some of that might be familiar to people, maybe not at all. And but your system brings in so many other energy systems as well. It's quite comprehensive. I'm hard pressed to think of anything else that brings in so many energy systems from around the world and uses them in such an easy to follow, easy to learn way that's highly effective. So, would you mind just speaking briefly about the daily energy routine? Because that might be kind of an entrance to someone who's brand new. And then maybe we can get into some of the woo-woo stuff as well.
Yes, I will talk about the daily energy routine. Thank you for bringing that up. It's one of uh, the sort of pieces of our modality that we're known for. So just to back up a little bit, my mom was born seeing energies in the body. So what that means is if my mom is walking down the street, and let's say we're on a busy street and there's people everywhere and things happening, she doesn't necessarily see the color of someone's top, or that they're wearing a hat, or that they have beautiful lipstick on. She sees their energies. She will see darkness and light and patterns and geometric shapes. Uh, she can see the 9 energy systems that we teach in our work and more. So she'll see the aura around someone and what the aura is doing. She will see the meridians flowing up and down or not flowing so well. She can see the chakras spinning on the body, in the front, in the back, and small chakras, big chakras. Sometimes she will see something in somebody that really alarms her because it's very dark or like a tar-like energy, and she knows, oh, that person is dealing with a challenge in that part of the body where she sees it.
Hmm.
Maybe that person doesn't even know, or she'll see something flowing beautifully in the body. Maybe it's around their heart, and she knows, oh, that person must be in love right now, or they're experiencing something loving and beautiful in their life. So that's how she sees. And she has a story that's all over the internet because she healed herself of multiple sclerosis as well as really severe allergies, which is what I witnessed a lot growing up, her severe allergies to food, to us walking out of the door of our house and just the air quality, sending her back in the house and having to lay down. So she healed herself of many ailments. And then around 1977, she started teaching this work. And as she went along and started gaining a clientele, she noticed that of all the, gosh, I would guess well over 150 techniques that she was using, there were certain techniques that worked well almost all the time on most people. And there were 7 or 8 of them that when she gave this to a client and said, do this homework, do this technique, it worked most of the time for most people. And she took those 8 techniques and put them into a routine that we call the daily energy routine. It's very, very effective for depression, anxiety, physical pain. It takes anywhere between, well, I guess you could do it really fast in 1 minute, or you could do it slowly and more mindfully, and maybe it'll take 5 or 6 minutes. So that is the routine. People are doing it all over the world. And Lori, I'll say really fast, I love how you talked about this work, about Eden, because my mom is incredible. And we have been called the most comprehensive energy medicine school in the world. And I believe we are. And part of that is because my mom not only came up with her own techniques because she wanted to heal herself, and she could see the energy in the body and what it was doing, what her legs were doing when she had multiple sclerosis, what her eyes were doing, behind the eyes, like in the brain, what the brain was doing when she had such bad allergies. And she created techniques to heal those. And then she started being exposed to other healing modalities. Touch for Health was a huge door for her into the world of healing. And everything Touch for Health brought in, acupressure points, meridians, different energy systems, she had already seen, but now she had a name for them. And it was really exciting for her. Celtic healing, Ayurveda, everything, Chinese medicine. She didn't know that these weird little points on the skin were called acupressure points
Hmm.
or acupoints. She just knew since she was born, she could see these little vortexes of energy on the skin and these others that were swirling. So it is an amazing work my mom has put together, both from other modalities and her own, and combined it in such an incredible way. So thank you for asking that.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Is it all right if you describe maybe just one aspect of those eight, so that people could try it right now in the moment. And for those who are only hearing you, you can describe it because they can't actually see what you're doing.
Yes, yes. Okay, perfect. So I'll give one that can both be seen and heard. So if you bring the pads of your fingers, both hands, up to your face, and you're going to put the pads of your fingers, so I'm bringing mine up to my face, under your eyes, on your cheekbones, more toward the bottom of your cheekbones than the top. So bring them down slightly from your eyes. And right there, you can thump. And this is one of the four thumps we have. And you can do it as with much pressure that feels good. I tend to use a lot of pressure, but you always want to do the techniques where they feel good. And the reason you're thumping here, we call these stomach points. How weird is it that you're touching your cheekbones and we call them stomach points?
Yeah.
That is because there is a meridian, and a meridian is a pathway of energy that runs up and down on the body, and they run in pairs. And every meridian is named for an organ. So you'll have lung meridian, large intestine meridian, and so on. They run up and down the body, and these points below your eyes on your cheekbones are on stomach meridian, and they tie in not only with your stomach and digestion, but this meridian goes all the way down your body, off your toes, and we like to say into the earth, and it is really grounding for you. So you might do this when you're feeling like, okay, I woke up this morning. It was really chaotic, really hectic, and I'm walking out the door to earth, to work, to earth also, but to work, and I'm feeling off. I'm feeling wobbly. I'm feeling a little upset. Stop for a moment and thump 20, 30 seconds. Thump these points, the stomach points on the cheekbones, and that will help with grounding. Grounding helps you to feel stronger, more stable. It's like the foundation of your house. And you've probably heard of grounding, or maybe you've heard of earthing, where you go stick your feet in the grass and the polarities of the earth and your polarities meet, and it's very grounding. This is the same type of thing.
Yep, wonderful. So it's a percussive motion. It looks like the beat that you're doing is like one, two, one, two, one, two at the same simultaneous. If you have one hand and not the other, it's okay. You can still do it. You can switch sides. So if
Yeah,
like you don't have full access to your both of your hands,
yeah.
can you have someone else do that for you? Let's say that you can't use your hands at all.
Absolutely. If you can't use your hands, somebody else can do it for you. And you can also, if there's no one around, you can use visualization and imagine it. Imagine that you're thumping those points or somebody else is thumping. You can even shut your eyes and imagine that energy line that goes down the front of your body, off your toes, into the earth and grounds you.
I love it. And if you can't touch your face, let's say you're in a meeting or whatever, and you're feeling a little nervous, I have found what helps sometimes is just to pump your heels, like just lifting, right, rise and fall on your heels. And so it's almost like a pump, and you're pumping energy up from the earth. So although the stomach meridian, we're talking about coming down, connecting, but it also can flow back up.
Yes,
So that's another kind of like little tip or trick that people can use with grounding.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Thank you. That's so great.
Yeah, you're
Well,
welcome.
I want to jump into so Dondi, you did something really fun when we were preparing for this interview, and you posted on social media that we were going to be meeting, and you put out a bunch of questions that you came up with, like what are the fan favorites? And from there, we came up with a great list, and one of them I really, really like. I'm going to see if I can get the exact wording here. and it was number 21. And number 21 says, what's something you once believed about healing that you no longer believe?
Yes, everyone loved 21. I think it was the most popular. So here is what I used to believe about healing that I know is no longer true. And that is that you have to think positive for it to work, that you have to have a positive mindset, and that you have to think good thoughts. You don't have to, it still works. And for that, that could sound weird or funny, and I'll explain it a little bit more. But I think for people who are cynical, because some of us are, here, I'm raising my hand,
Hmm.
cynical, or we naturally go to worst case scenario, or our mind gets stuck in sort of a darker loop, it's very hard to just think positive.
Hmm.
It can feel very unnatural, it can feel almost fake. But going way back to growing up, I have a, I have a very, very positive family. One of the first books I was ever given was from my grandparents. I think I was about 6 years old, and they gave me The Power of Positive Thinking. And my mom raised me on positive thinking. She's a very, very positive woman. And I was born a wood element, which is one of the Chinese five elements. It's a personality typing system. And woods tend to be a bit more cynical and doubtful. And it was very hard for me. So my mom said, well, it might help if you do affirmations. And I remember back in the 70s, oh, it will be so interesting to know if anybody knows about this. There was a class. A woman would go around the United States teaching a class, and it was called the list class. And you'd make a list of everything that you wanted, and you would end every single statement with in a healthy and positive way.
Oh,
So you
interesting.
would, yeah, so you would say, I am happy this morning in a healthy and positive way. I, I was like 12 years old, so I have a boyfriend in a healthy and positive way because I wanted a boyfriend. And I realized over time that energy medicine, energy healing, the techniques work because your energetic chemistry in your body, your energetic biology can change and transform no matter what you're thinking. Because, at least in our work in Eden energy medicine, it's not based on psychology.
Hmm.
It's not based on your thoughts. It's based on changing the energy in your body, which can be really, really good news for people who find it hard to think positively. Later, I said to my mom, when I was probably in my late 20s, I said, Mom, this all works even when I'm being a total Debbie Downer. I don't want to do the techniques when I'm being a Debbie Downer, but they work. And she said, Of course they do.
Yeah.
And I said, Yeah, but we always did positive thinking, and you raised me on affirmations. She said, Yeah, because they're wonderful and they're great, and it makes life even better. But little Dondi, if you're feeling negative, the techniques still work.
Yeah, I love it. And this is a nice dovetail. Thank you for that. And this is a
Yeah.
nice dovetail into the setup phrase with EFT, or tapping, where we say, even though this is true, this other thing that's not the same is also true. So even though I feel depressed, I know that I can feel better. Or even if I'm in a terrible mood, I know it's still possible to do my daily exercise, energy exercises, something like that, this contrast statement. And so you're creating so you have, this is true, this opposite thing is also true. That's in contrast to each other. It's like you're fighting with yourself. Do I put on the gas or the brake, the gas or the brake? And then you say, oh, but since all of it's true, there's a third position. where I can like expand my consciousness to something else that includes all of it. I don't get locked into a battle of polarity. And then it gives me room to kind of have movement towards something else, a third option.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. So I like the fact that you were well grounded in the positive and that your mom was like, well, even if you're not feeling it, do it anyway. And you're like, oh, it shifted. Like there's something also in the driver's seat besides my mind or my emotions. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And a lot of times we'll say, do the techniques while you're feeling negative, while you're crying, while you're falling apart. Do it right then. Hold your points. Trace the meridians at that moment because it will help bring you out of that.
That's great. So now we get to segue to another question. Let me just take a moment here. Um, all right, number 16. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I don't remember it, so I'm excited.
What was the hardest season of your life and what carried you through it? Is it okay to ask that of you?
Absolutely, Lori. You can ask me anything. Yes,
Yeah.
I have had quite a few hard seasons. I lost people very young throughout my life. That has been consistent. Death has been around me a lot and in very unexpected and sometimes volatile ways. That has been incredibly hard. A season that has just been in my life. When my dad died, I was catatonic. I thought, why am I even living? When my dad died, the years from junior high, when I entered junior high, to graduation day, 6 years in a junior high and high school in a very small town in Oregon, Ashland, Oregon, which many people know of as this healing, artsy, crafty, wonderful town. And it is. But in 1980, at the junior high, not so much.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of bullying, a lot of really hard times, so many hard times. And a couple of things bring me through those hard times. Having a support team
Mm-hmm.
is everything. And
Mm-hmm.
that can be family, that can be friends. Today, it can be an amazing group that you meet online with.
Yeah.
But having people to say, I got you, I hear you, I've experienced this too. Tell us, bring us your woes. My mom always says, Dondi, bring me your woes, because when you bring me a woe, then you leave with just a half woe, and I took half of it for you. And so having a support group, Steve Jobs, who I think the whole world knows who Steve Jobs was, he always said that was the secret to his success. People would
Mm-hmm.
ask him, what is the secret to your success? And he'd say, oh, the people around me. That's the secret to my success, whether that's at work, my team, or at home with my family. And I've always had a very, very, very supportive family. And I'm so blessed for that. I truly feel like my sister brought me out of that catatonic state that I was in when my dad passed. And so that's a really big one, but also back to energy medicine. I've done it my whole life. When I'm experiencing grief, which is something that comes in life quite a lot, and as you get older, it comes more and more.
Yeah.
Doing the techniques that are directly connected to grief, working with the lungs, working with the large intestine, those two organs are connected to grief.
Mm-hmm.
It really makes a difference.
Yeah.
It really makes a difference. And I think it is the difference a lot of times between me dropping into a sort of depression and staying there or being able to say, okay, I did a few days of depression. I'm getting out of it now.
Oh, thank you for that
Yeah,
vulnerability and honesty, sharing about your life. I'm sure that many people can relate to
yeah,
what you're talking about, especially the feeling of knocked down, like you said, just like really immobile, and feeling like buried underneath the heaviness of everything. And I love what you said about community or other people. We're facing an epidemic of loneliness. In certain ways, we're more connected than ever before, and in certain ways, more disconnected. So, we have the onslaught of information from around the world. People, like you said, I have a great community of people who I met since 2020 that I never would know because they're from around the world and they've become dear friends. And I can't believe I haven't actually seen them in person. It's shocking to me, really. But we sometimes become disconnected from the very people who are nearby us, people not knowing their neighbors or not being in community. And it's especially hard for people who are more introverted, who are
yes.
feeling more hopeless or cut off from the flow. And I would say that even if you can't find another single human, find something that's alive for you, whether it's an animal companion or going to a garden or finding a tree, or
Yeah.
even growing a small plant. Like, what if you like can't even get out? Just seeing something that has life force energy that you can connect to outside of yourself can make such a difference for people.
I agree. And I think you hit it on the head when you say outside of yourself. Because if you stay in yourself with your own story, that's a lot of tunnel vision.
Yeah.
And it's limited. It's really limited. And get outside of yourself somehow. I love that you brought up animals. For so many people, that is a way to have a support system with their animals. And I also heard Lori, and this is going in a little bit of a different direction, but I think it's connected enough to bring up, and it's really heartwarming. I read that, so I'll say that my son and I like to figure out what we can give to uh, people who don't have homes. We know them as, there's different politically correct terms for the term that most people know of homeless people.
Yeah.
And we'll we'll figure out what we can give them. And I was researching it a little bit, that one of the number one things they love are stuffed animals. I, I have my Highland coo up there. They love stuffed animals. We always think, okay, I think the first thought is, what food can we give? And that's so important. But to give them a stuffed animal, because it brings them back to their memories of when they had a household pet and the love that fills their body. And then if they are on the streets and they are carrying a small bag, they have their stuffed animal with them. And I know it can sound kind of silly, but that just really hit me in a very heartwarming way. Animals are so important.
Yes, and something you can hold with
Yes.
unconditional love. I
Yeah.
think people are looking for that through online or whatever. You're looking for that connection. And some people have it with their spirituality, no matter how dark or whatever, that they know that their spiritual life is there, even if they can't feel it in the moment. But to have that, you know, external object, even if it is a stuffed animal or as precious as a stuffed animal,
Yeah.
that love, that comfort. I'm remembering way back in my psychology training about the monkeys who were raised with like basically a stuffed animal that kind of looked like a mom, or the one that just was like the wire mesh with the feeding, for the milk. And the animals would get their milk and then they'd go cling to the stuffed animal, and that nurturance. And
Yes.
we die without that.
Yes.
So that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it. And so we're coming to the end of our time, but I want to make sure that we talk a little bit about intuition. And so I know that you're highly intuitive. And do you have a special story or a time in your life when intuition was very pivotal for you? Maybe it helped you solve something that you were confronting, or it gave you some kind of a boost in your life or shifted you to a different dimension or reality. So, whatever it is that you'd like to answer around that, I'd love to know more.
Yes, wonderful. So I use intuition, I would say, in 99% of the decisions I make. It is a part of my life every single day. And running a business, raising a child, a lot of decisions have to be made. And I am very, very open to my intuition because my mom always raised me to listen to the wee voice. That's what she would always say, Dondi, don't listen to the big voice because that's oftentimes the fear talking or what you think you should do or ego talking or maybe something someone said to you and it's conditioned you to think a certain way. Listen to the wee voice.
Hmm.
And so the we voice will come in, and I'm saying this because I often get asked, well, how do you know it's not fear? How do you know the we voice isn't fear? For me, and I think this is for most people who do utilize intuition in their life on a daily basis, fear feels different in the body. And it can be very, very subtle, but you have to take a moment and see how your body is feeling. For me, if I am going to make a decision, oh, should I? Okay, I'll use an example of one that everybody told me not to do in my 20s. Run off to the Middle East for my dance career and all alone, no job set up, just me and my bag, and I was going. And of course, everyone said, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. And I said, I can do it. And the intuition was full, and my body felt good. And the wee voice kept talking through the weeks, go, go, go. And it was a feeling that not just filled me with joy to think about, because again, that's back to psychology, which is a beautiful thing, but it was very much a visceral feeling in the body. My chest felt open, my throat felt open. When I hear a wee voice, I know it's fear when I get a little bit tighter in the throat, a little tingle in the chest, not a good tingle, but
Hmm.
sort of an oppressive tingle in the chest. I feel a little bit more wobbly. Again, it's so subtle, and sometimes the we voice is so fleeting. That's why I think a lot of people who do work with intuition say, take the time to stop, to listen to it, or go outside if you can find some nature, find some stillness to really hear it. So I use intuition for everything. And I look back on my life, and when I think about, okay, that was a bad decision, and I don't really think of bad decisions because everything has a silver lining. But if I look back and I think that was a bad decision, I also look back knowing I moved on fear. I made that decision out of fear
Hmm.
and not out of the wee voice of intuition, which is so powerful and so all knowing. And I believe connected to our ancestors and things that we can't even begin to comprehend, the invisible realm
Yeah.
that is connected into intuition.
Oh, I love it. Thanks for that. Thank goodness you didn't listen to everyone's sane advice.
Yes. Yeah, that's kind of who I am. I don't listen to other people when I hear the wee voice of my own that my mom trained me to listen to.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
maybe at that moment she was kicking herself for that.
Yes.
Because people, we worry about calculated risk and, all the things and things that should be in place to help us feel, more secure about our
Yeah.
decisions. But you probably had a karmic destiny, resonant mission, agreement, contract with your future career. And it could have, blown up and been terrible, and you could have come home, or, you would have hit some other kind of obstacles, which I know you had when you were there because you shared so openly in one of your books. But um, I always talk about lessons and blessings, and sometimes they're both in the same act.
Yeah.
And so we have things that we need to focus on and deal with. We can influence speed, scope, and scale, but not always the thing that's confronting us. So thank you for your, as they said in The Wizard of Oz, your braverism.
I love that.
Oh, I love it. And I also listen to my still small voice or the we voice all the time and argue with it. And,
Yeah.
then you amend it and come back around, and you don't always understand what it's telling you. It is fleeting, it's open to interpretation. Sometimes it's very literal or based on metaphor. And so, going to the sea might not be the ocean. It might be a new vision that you have for your life. Going to the sea, what am I seeing? Anyway, you can go on and on about that, but thank you for sharing those stories. And I'm wondering, is there anything else you'd like to share today? I know I could talk to you on and on and on. I wish I could, but we're
Yes,
coming to the end here now.
yeah, there is one little thing I'd love to share because I was remembering one question and it just came into my head right now.
Yes.
So I think I should share it because I'm following my intuition to share it for someone out there. And I'll try to keep it succinct because it's a two-part answer. One of the questions was, what is the best advice I've ever received? And did I follow it?
Yeah.
And it's two pieces of advice. One was my dad when I ran off to Hollywood and I came home one weekend to see him. And I was just like, oh my God, Dad, I show up on these auditions and everybody is beautiful. All the girls are skinny. They're all taller than me. They all can sing. I can't sing. And I just should leave Hollywood. I'm a big fat failure. And he said, get over that now. Get over that now because for the rest of your life, there are going to be women who are prettier, thinner, taller, and better singers. And if you're going to lean into that and how awful that is, you're going to have a miserable life. So my dad was very woody, very pragmatic, and
Hmm.
that was amazing for me. And I've lived by that. And I know a lot of women, especially, have a hard time with comparing themselves to others.
Yeah.
So putting that out there from my dad to you, get over it now, or you'll have a miserable life.
Do your daily energy routine, say your
Yes,
affirmations. Even though I'm not over it
absolutely.
yet, I know I can be. Tap away.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the other piece of advice, Lori, which I have followed, which has been so incredible, was from you. And I was sharing with you when we had our time together about my son. And that, for so many of you, raising kids and raising teenagers is so hard. And at that moment, it was very, very hard. And there was a lot of yelling and crying, and it felt very assaulting. It wasn't physically assaulting, but it felt the energy was so assaulting. And Lori, you said to me, remember though, when your son is like what you're explaining, he's still connecting with you. He's still connecting. That meant everything to me. And I still use it today, and we still have those moments. And in the back of my mind, he's still connecting. He's still connecting. It's like the bad times can still be the good times. It's that beautiful, that nothing is black and white, that there are all sorts of shades and colors that make up a situation. And so I take that with me throughout life, and I thank you. I will always be grateful for that.
Oh, thank you for sharing. That's so beautiful. I'm so honored that you took that to heart. A lot of the times when I speak to someone, they'll say, remember what you said? And sometimes I don't. But that moment when you were sharing so deeply with yourself, about your life, I remember my intuition kicked in. And I heard, choose your words carefully, be very deliberate, and make sure you deliver this message as clearly as you can. And I remember your eyes went wide. You leaned into me. You were almost in a hypnotic state. You probably were. And I was talking, I thought, oh goodness, this is a lot of responsibility to be talking about something that I usually wouldn't go that deep with someone immediately, But I just felt like this was a gift that you were being given through me. It really wasn't me. And all I saw was that the tension, the arguing, the conflict is connection. It's the opposite of disconnection. When someone goes flat, neutral, depressed, and they cut off, that's really the time, like the silence, that's a time to really, really be concerned. I mean, an extreme example is the sound of someone drowning is silent. And so the idea of fighting that you still have life force in you and you're saying no and this isn't right and all the rest, it's so unpleasant, but it is connection. So thank you for taking that in. And I hopefully these words will help other people. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Lori. This has been so great. It went so fast.
Well, it's
Thank
just
you.
such a delight. And I look forward to our next time together. And I'm so happy that you're here and keep just listening to that wee voice and everyone else the same. If you don't know how to, find out how to. And of course, all the information that we talked about today will be in the program notes so that you can start your own journeys or continue your journeys with so many of these wonderful gifts that we've been talking about today. Okay, all right. Take care. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye bye, everybody.
Thank you for joining us for today's podcast. If you want to learn more, you can visit my website for podcast and resources at hopshealingtips.com. You can also like, share, and subscribe to this channel. This podcast is for information and entertainment purposes only and is not providing healthcare advice. Please seek guidance from your professional healthcare team should you need assistance.